Yeah, so my name's Dan Johnson. I am an experimental percussionist and performance artist. That's probably the sort of simplest way. But yeah, I exist somewhere between a drummer and a performance artist. That would be kind of the distillation. I work a lot with endurance, like physical endurance and listening. So I'm also a deep listening facilitator. I did the course with the Center for Deep Listening a few years ago. So Pauline Barrow's program. And yeah, so between deep listening, perform like durational performance art and percussion is kind of fits sort of somewhere in the middle. I really um, care a lot about like participation and um, kind of getting out of established kind of norms about like who can do what's what's good music, what's bad music, what's uh how you're supposed to play or not play, and all these getting forget about all these conventions and like you know let's have some fun and do something new. And what happens if we work together, or what happens if we could also flip it on its head? What's let's take that limitation and like how far can we push that as a way to find something new, or what happens if I play the same rhythm for 3 hours? Uh, and like I guess I another a different thing that I do is I'm quite interested in acoustics and different spaces. So the 3 hour thing I did was I did a 3 hour drum roll in a lift in Cardiff. That was a shift in Cardiff, and people could kind of come and use the lift to go up and down, or they could sort of be in the lift for as long as they wanted to while I was doing this drum roll. What the, exactly what the point of that was, I don't know if I could tell you. Um, but I guess I'm quite interested in creating sort of experiences that hopefully get people thinking and also kind of connecting with each other and the environment and sound. Yeah.
I know you've got to be very fit to be to play percussion. But 3 hours sounds like like superhuman. What was that like?
um, well, I'd done an 8 hour performance before, so 3 hours wasn't too bad. um, but not to downplay it, it's tiring, it's difficult. I was in a very small, it was a little lift, and it was just doing a single stroke roll, just um, 3 hours. It's pretty meditative as well. So it's kind of, and it's quite, with the roll, it's a lot of small movements. So I'm also um, very interested in technique and body movement and really how things feel. And so I don't know. It's kind of there's a lot of kind of crossover. Like a lot of there isn't sort of all these different things kind of inform what I'm doing in the sense of like there's a lot of an exploration going on for me in the performances as well. Because it's like um, what's the relationship between the movement and the sound and the duration, and how all these kind of all the different ways they can interact, I suppose. It's like because it's very different. 3 minutes is very different to 3 hours, and what that really does to us if you really stick with it. And I guess ultimately for me, it does lead to this quite a sense of peace. I guess it's a lot kind of tied into meditation that comes with sticking for something for so long. And like even though perhaps because there isn't much going on musically, um, on the surface anyway. Once we start listening, we hear actually there's a lot of depth in a drum roll or any sound source, but um, it makes space. So I guess the same way that the kind of minimal sound makes space for the overtones and the harmonics and these all these other sounds to come through. It's a bit like as a listener, like there's kind of that side of it, but then also um, it helps us like it helps me kind of get through all the noise and the distraction and like chaos of like just kind of modern life to get to the kind of real self, get all these kind of strip back all these extra thoughts and mess. How do I actually feel? So, I mean, maybe I haven't really thought about it this way before, but maybe what I'm doing is actually kind of quite political. um, hopefully that's helpful. In terms of fitness, maybe just to go back to the fitness question, um, I try to do a lot of practice and stay healthy and really um, just watch what I eat and go running and exercise. Yeah, just stay healthy.
When you talk about like the process and the practice and the sound, I'm just getting images of like, I don't know, like a great Rothko painting.
Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. That's not the only person that said that about my play. Like one of the persons who said, yeah, like was like like listening to a Rothko painting. Um, um, yeah, yes. I mean, I suppose, yeah. I mean, I'm not sort of. I haven't done much in terms of like directly. How am I gonna like maybe interpret a Rothko painting or something like that? But yeah, definitely that kind of sitting with whatever the thing is and like things emerge and things that evolve over time is a big thing.
I went to just on the Rothko thing. I went to a Rothko exhibition in Paris a couple of years ago, and Max Richter had done a
Oh, cool.
done like a soundtrack or in response to the exhibition. Um, I'll try and send you the link after this if you want to go on and have a.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to.
It's an intense piece of music, but yeah. And so just tell me how kind of Maggie Nicols came
Yeah,
your
yeah, that was the
world.
story, of the duo. So, um, I'd seen, as an audience member, I'd seen Maggie perform a few times, and I'd been, very, very inspired. And we have a mutual friend, DM Withers, who point out runs a really great independent book publishing company called Lurid Editions. Well worth checking out. The DM introduced us to each other. Basically, DM had mentioned before that, like, oh, I had sort of made like a little. I think it kind of made a comparison between my approach and Maggie's approach a little bit, because we both do workshops and facilitate improvisation with groups and stuff. And then sort of gradually was like, oh, I wonder, what would it be like if we played together? And yeah, DM very kindly introduced us the last time Maggie played solo in Bristol, um, back in 2023, and then um, Maggie was, really up for playing together and explaining something, and we were fortunate enough to get. Uh, we were invited to play Bristol New Music Festival, which was that was our first time playing together, which is also the release that's coming out. It's a recording of that performance, and yeah, it's just been. I guess it's just been really kind of easy. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like we haven't really we didn't discuss what we were going to do. We just like a real kind of mutual understanding there and acceptance and openness to whatever comes through. Really, I remember Maggie saying, the first time playing together, we were both a bit like, okay, well, we need to get to know. This is how we get to know each other. We need to leave a certain amount of space and obviously listen to each other, of course, always. But there's a kind of like maybe there's a little bit of like, oh, I don't want to step on anyone's toes or anything like that. But um, you could just kind of feel that we were just immediately there for each other, and always have been. Whenever we're playing together, um, which is really great. It's I guess I find it's just a great feeling. It's like having it's like your best friend or whatever. It's just sort of very supported, and I remember Maggie saying at the end of the first show, like, now I know how far I can go, how free we can be, and like, because yeah, we've got each other's backs.
It's really
So yeah,
lovely to hear. Um, I mean, if you could describe the sound, could you describe the sound that you
sound.
make when you play together?
Yeah, I mean it's broad. It's a varied sound. Like we really, um, it's very inclusive. It's delicate. It can be really powerful as well. We can be quite um I'm not so I'm sorry, I'm not great at with the kind of sonic vocabulary, I guess.
But
But
neither am I, so it's all
that's
right.
okay. um Describe the sound. It's in terms of like what's actually going on, we've got voice, we've got uh gongs, cymbals, really the whole frequency range. It's kind of dense, but it's sparse at the same time. It's Maggie's on piano, some tap dance. Um, it's very very patient music, I guess, and it kind of, I guess, it kind of rewards the patience of the audience, of the listener as well. Um, but then it can also be like really playful and quite funny, and there's moments when we both tap dance, and have quite a bit of laughter as well. It's really one of the things I find most inspiring about Maggie is that she's able to move from like, there's not many like people. I've heard people talk about this quite a bit, but I haven't encountered many performers that can move from something really hard, really serious, quite like politically, um, quite serious political issues, in addressing them directly in a performance, um, really spelling out what's going on, what's going wrong with the world, and but be able to kind of move to a lightness as well in like then almost the next breath, without dropping the ball. Like it's she's really complete kind of performer. With like the joy and the laughter and the kind of the pain, but really kind of supporting people through that and like welcoming everything because it's all part of life. It's um, hopefully the music reflects that. It can be kind of heard there that there's like all these aspects. Um,
And did you know that the first performance together would lead to like a recording?
Not necessarily. No, actually, I think to begin with, it was just a case of let's do this. And hopefully it goes well, and maybe we'll get a few more gigs. And then my friend Annie Gardner offered to record it. Actually, she was like, you know, this is a special thing. We need to document it. So she voluntarily recorded it, which is the recording that's been released. And he then mixed it, mastered it, stuff. So yeah, we didn't at first, but yeah, thankfully.
And what do you think people will get from the show up here in Barrow?
Um, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be. It's pretty powerful. I think it might be some challenge. I think we might take it. It's going to be pretty far out. Uh, um, but hopefully, well, they're definitely, the plan is to bring the audience with us on the journey. We're not going to leave them behind. Like, it's about everybody. That's one of the big things for the duo, is like, don't forget about the audience. We're all in this together. So yeah, it's going to be, something's going to happen. It's hard to pinpoint, but I think it's going to be a special one.